Yeah. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. Every day we steady looking at the market, and we gon' tell you how to get started. Chain abstraction, fear and greed index, always looking at price action. Broke on advance, you don't even gotta mention. I swap it in the deck, you're not bullish enough. Traded in the segs, you ain't trenching enough. We do that market recon. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to rehab. Shizzy and Yagobi. OnChain Revolution, network in the art. Every day we go live, baby, you know where we are. We mention all the networks and the crypto. Need some more liquidity, flipping and trading is the recipe. Too many protocols to count. I get high and I'm never coming down. Number go up, then I'ma say peace. Yeah, you thought that I was gonna leave. Yeah, we just getting started, man. OnChain Revolution. Every day. Bring the beat back. Eyes everywhere, gotta be careful with volatile meme coins. You can get some bread if you round trip it, then you gon' regret. All this information in my head. BYOR, touch grass instead. Nobody really knows how it's gonna end up today. Somebody gotta tell you what's happening today. I don't let the money change me, no way. OnChain Revolution, here to stay. Yeah, say I'm sage, man. Voodoo 2 on the way. Yeah. Nickies. Yeah. OnChain Revolution. OnChain. Hey, OnChain Revolution. Bitcoin not an illusion. Market recaps and I do a roll call. You're not bullish in the vocal. Look at the price action. Yeah, send it to the deck. Sell it through the stack. Order knows the best. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to read. If you end up bearish, gotta put the knee pad. Let me see the comments. Look at the fear and greed index. Rich. Look at the chart.
Welcome back to OnChain Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire Bitcoin, crypto ecosystem. What is up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We're live for the OnChain Hour, and this one is going to be great, guys, because today we're going to be talking about the 5 communities to join before you get left behind. Spoiler alert, one of those are Kraken's newest listing, hopefully this week. Dog. So we're actually looking forward to that. We actually have something to talk about there that I haven't realized. Yagobi brought it to my attention this morning, and we're going to dig into that. We're going to dig into that to a lot. But we got Bitcoin, so we got 108,500. Yesterday, we got up to almost 111, and then kind of fell back down. Bitcoin is looking strong, but Ethereum is actually looking stronger. And for, alt season to happen, we need Ethereum to run. We need Ethereum to get to 3,000-4,000, potentially in the next couple days, couple weeks. Would be absolutely awesome. My target for Ethereum is still $19,000 by the end of next May. That's kind of what I'm thinking. But, we need Bitcoin to hit that 700K for that to happen. And not to mention potentially Dog getting to $50 billion. No, I'm just kidding. But maybe, right? It's going to be exciting. It's going to be an insane bull run. I'm really excited for this. And you guys are here during the downtimes. You guys are here during the times when no one's here. I mean, look at the timeline right now. If it ain't about Dog, you ain't really seeing much at all. It's just the people who are going to be very, very rich that are still here, and include yourself into that. But we're going to get into a lot of other things. But before we do, let's bring my partner here, as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's up?
What's up, man? How are you doing today?
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling energetic, even though the timeline does feel a little lethargic. I think people are just taking a little bit of a break, but I expect that break to last for 5 minutes, at least for the dog army, because they're so crazy. They're going to be right back at it, right? Bitcoin did pull back a little bit this morning, but that's okay. We did, it did a little bit of the opposite of what I thought was going to happen yesterday. I thought there was going to be a little bit of a chop with a little bit of a downtrend. It kind of did the opposite. It did a little bit of chop with some uptrend, right? So that 4-hour chart definitely sustained the buy pressure. We'll see if it continues today. But other than that, I'm excited. I know what's coming. I think most of the people that are watching us right now and have been watching us knows what's coming, and I'm pretty sure you know what's coming, even though sometimes you're like, is it happening? I'm like, yes, it's going to happen. I promise, at least by Q4 this year.
Dude, I go through these emotional like things, right? Like yesterday, I was like so bullish. You couldn't pop me at all, man. I was ready to go. And then today I woke up and I'm just like, all right, let's get
It's
it.
my birthday. Nobody like. No, just kidding.
No, for real. That's just kind of how it is right now. It's like you want it so bad. And then when you start to get it a little bit, you're like, awesome. And then
More.
when they start to, like push it back a little bit, you're like, no, because it could go either way, right? We are in the camp that, it's going to go. It's going to go. And when it goes, it's going to be nothing like something we've never seen before, right? And all the signs are pointing to that. With the nation state adoption, was it Paraguay yesterday, right? Now legal tender, the second country in the world behind El Salvador to do that. That's actually absolutely huge, and then all these companies adopting it. It's just a matter of time, but like I just can't wait anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. But before we get into all that stuff, let's kind of jump into the first topic of today, the main topic of today. Bull run's heating up. 5 communities has joined now before it's left behind. I think we can all agree that it's the number one, in our opinion, is Dog. Dog is not yet listed on Kraken, OKX, HTX Global, KuCoin, Crypto.com, Upbit, Bitstamp, Hyperliquid, Gemini, Coinbase, Binance, and Robinhood. Think of that upward momentum each. I mean, it's going to get listed on every single one of them, right? It's just a matter of time. But they are all pumps. Every single one of those are potential pumps for Dog.
They are, and I do feel like there's this master grand plan, and Kraken is definitely involved with that in terms of kind of catapulting Dog and the Runes ecosystem into the spotlight. We're halfway through the year. We still have 6 months left. How are they going to spread this out, right? And obviously there has to be some follow-up success after the launch of Kraken with Dog. We got to see some movement heading towards that $1 billion mark, kind of, getting past that, setting the new standard for Dog, right?
Yeah.
Now, with why I say that is because that is what's going to really trigger these other exchanges and saying, okay, this is everything that's happening on X related to Dog, the cash tags, all the attention it's getting in terms of being in that top 3 of attention constantly, consistently, it's going to play out into market cap and interest and more holders, right? So that's what I'm excited about in terms of the upside that you just went through. There's so many different exchanges left, so that upside looks really high. That ceiling looks high.
Yeah, think about it though. Say we get Kraken this week, right? And then potential 2 weeks later we get OKX. 2 weeks later we get maybe KuCoin, Crypto.com. Crypto.com recently just added Dog to their wallet. So now if you have a Crypto.com wallet, you can buy Dog in the wallet. I guess it's on whatever they use, Solana probably. I'm sure Crypto.com probably has a Solana thing. I've never used it, but I just know that on the timeline people are saying, hey, you can buy Dog now on the Crypto.com wallet. I didn't really have the wallet, honestly.
Yeah, so the wallet's been out for a while, but it's really strictly EVM. It has been, at least when I used to use it back in 2022. And, they really tried to brand that wallet, but it's just like any other EVM wallet where you just plug your phrase in and you can plug it into MetaMask or a Coinbase. So it's interchangeable that way. But with how wallets are evolving today, I would not be surprised if they added a Solana address, kind of like what we saw with MetaMask, right? And I think Coinbase does that eventually too. And we're going to start to see this wallet game really open up and say, hey, look, it doesn't matter what environment you're in. We already see, Tokyo Wallet's doing that. XRS kind of trying to do that. And all these others wallets are also doing that. Phantom kind of does that as well. And I think that's the future of it. And it makes sense to do that, right? Why box people in? So.
Yeah, 100%, dude. And we're gonna get into there's a lot of coins that are not listed on those exchanges, right? And we're gonna get into a lot of those ones which also have a lot of pop. So top 5 communities to get into. Let's kind of jump right into that. Let me change the banner back to the original one. All right, so share my screen here. So obviously you have coins like Dogecoin, right? Dogecoin, in my opinion, is a nice 5x, a nice safe 5x, right? No downside to holding Doge, in my opinion. Shiba Inu, same thing. Shiba's going to do good. Shiba's number one token, number one meme on Ethereum, but Pepe wants to take that title away from it. We'll see if Pepe can do that. But let's. What do you think your top 5 with the most upside? Let's talk about upside as well, right?
Yeah, so the ones that you just mentioned are more safe plays, right? And Ethereum has yet to see its explosion this cycle. So that's where I
Yeah.
think you were talking about you can benefit from Sheeb and Pepe, and there'll probably be a battle between those two. But that's more of the safe. These have been established, right? And so like you said, 2, 5, maybe on some of them like close to 10, but that'd be kind of stretching it. But like
Yeah.
for the communities this cycle, you're looking at the upside. You're probably looking at SPX 6900. You're looking at Fartcoin. You're looking at Dog with Hat. You're looking at, of course, Dog from the Bitcoin ecosystem. And I think there's some big sleepers in the Bitcoin ecosystem as well, because Runes hasn't had its due justice in terms of like focus on it, right? So you got $1 Billion Cat, which is a big IP play in the Bitcoin Runes ecosystem. You have Pups, which those guys are crazy. Then you have Gizmo that's been kind of coming out of nowhere and really putting a lot of energy in there. Those are the lowest hanging fruit ones that I think have the biggest upside and can have a crazy community. But if you're talking about big kind of Goliath contenders, you got to say the Dog. You got to say Dog from Bitcoin Runes. You got to say Fartcoin. You got to say Dog with Hat. So those are 3 right there, right? And then it's after the 3, you can kind of determine, do I want to kind of take the lower hanging fruit I just mentioned in Bitcoin, or do you want to take some of these lower hanging fruits that are still on Solana, or like Base with Brett? Brett could be one, I don't include Bonk into that because Bonk has been kind of established already from last cycle. There's like this, and they do a lot of stuff to where they give their tokens out to projects. And so like, I kind of leave them to the side. But Pudgy Penguins is definitely in the conversation there. You have Luca Nets, right? With his community and stuff. So that's kind of what I see. I see kind of those that I just named there.
Yeah, no, 100%. Mog's another one, right? But we beat Mog. The dog community has passed Mog. I do see Mog on my timeline more than I see Brett or ApeCoin. I've never seen ApeCoin. ApeCoin just has a community of people invested, right, in that in the NFTs and metaverse and everything like that, right? Because they got land and they got all kinds of stuff in the ApeCoin world. But now we're hearing that potentially that's just going to be a meme coin. It's no longer going to be governance. But yeah, I 100% agree. But you mentioned some of these, right? Some of these runes that if Dog does go to the moon, like everyone thinks is going to, right? You got stuff like Mim. You got stuff like what is this Tesla? By the way, it is always here in volume. Is this got to be like?
I don't know. There's got to be like a team behind it or some sort of capital behind it. Yeah, because they're intentionally seeming to try to push it into the top 5 of volume, right? But when you're talking about communities, I wouldn't consider that one of them. Like Gizmo, Billy definitely, because the IP play. So Billy can follow a trajectory of, Pudgy Penguins and Luca Nets, but Luca Nets is the big denominator in that formula for Pudgy, and the reason why that whole thing is successful right now. So Billy has more of a couple people. You have like the influencer side, Bongo. I think A6 might be there. I think someone needs to really emerge from the Billy team to say, hey, look, they know IP, they know business, kind of follow that Luca Nets trajectory, and I think they could have some success that way. If not, they could still have success as a community, kind of IP driven that way. But I do think that you got to have that one leader that's like, okay, I'm putting Billy into Walmart, so I'm just kind of following what Pudgy did, right? I'm partnering with this company, and animation team is doing a series or something. You get what I'm saying? So that's where I think Billy can really thrive, because no one else really has that in the Runes ecosystem except for Billy. And of course you got Pups, right? Pups has the craziness of puppets, and Farmer Joe does a decent job there. So
no, 100%. I completely agree with you. Billy just needs either their leader to step up, which right now I think Bongo, right? Bongo is a very big face over there. I don't know if he would call himself the leader, but he's definitely one of the biggest voices for the Billy community. Pups, Farmer Joe. I mean, Farmer Joe has to be looking at what Leonidas is doing, right, and just be like, he's missing an opportunity.
The blueprint's there.
An opportunity, dude. He's missing an opportunity. Farmer Joe could be out doing what Leonidas is doing, but he doesn't want to put the time in. But dude, like Leonidas, all right, he's pumping Dog, but in reality, he's doing really good stuff for his company or .io. And Farmer Joe, if he's invested here, and I know he's invested in a lot of different type of businesses and stuff like that, then pumping pups could actually help those businesses because that's going to bring attention to this ecosystem.
Absolutely. You made a great point about Leonidas kind of, putting the boots on we were talking back in 2024 when Runes launched. Dude, before that,
Yeah.
he like rune stones and stuff like that, the entire process. And it does take a lot. It takes a lot of time, takes a lot of effort, takes a lot of coordination. And then once that happens, kind of like this coordination and stuff, people work for you in that aspect, right? They want you on the spaces and all that stuff, but still your time, you have to dedicate towards it. So the blueprint's there. I think communities like Billy, communities like Pups, communities like Gizmo can really follow this blueprint, right? And start hosting their own spaces that are just surrounding their token and community. So I think the Bitcoin ecosystem needs to step up a bit here in that aspect, right? Like, and maybe they're waiting on, Dog to get to that promised land first, but I would say don't wait. Get that going, get that momentum going first. You see what's happening from a social media aspect. Dog is dominating every single token that we talked about, including the legacy ones right now. You're talking about Doge, you're talking about Sheeb. Dog has more mentions on X than any of those in the past 6 months, maybe even longer, right? If you do the average and you average it out. So the blueprint's there. We see how Leonidas has done it. Billy, Pups, Gizmo, step up, Bro Bear. Let's step up.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's call to action, guys. Get out there. Let's bring these rest of these runes up with Dog. I mean, Dog is what 90% of all the runes market cap. I mean, right now, and that's awesome. It's awesome for Dog, but at the same time, it just shows you that these communities need to step up.
Yeah, there's a what is it called? The Bitcoin. What's the Bitcoin domination? What's that chart called?
Oh,
I forgot.
Dog domination chart.
Yeah. Where the percentage
dog dominance chart.
Yeah, there it is. The dog dominance chart right there. Look, I wouldn't be surprised if it exists on TradingView in the next couple of months. But hey, the other tokens, this is going to be an opportunity. Just be prepared. Be ready. Because once it's go time, it's go time. And some of these other runes that might come out of nowhere, they might pass you, and they just came out of nowhere because they've done this on Ethereum and other places. So.
Yeah, 100%. Shout out to Sammy Turnpike. He's here. My guy, Coach Katz is here. We'll get the roll call in a bit, but wanted to definitely shout you guys out. Max says he reposted the stream. Yes, you guys please wouldn't mind reposting and like it. I know we don't want to push that too much, but if it really helps us out, and we really appreciate those likes and reposts for sure. But let's kind of get into some of the off-chain news here. So the CPI index or consumer price index is tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Eastern. This is a big day tomorrow. We need CPI to come in because everyone's so worried about the tariffs. Everyone's so worried about prices going up. I'm noticing cheaper. Like I'm like every single time. Like I go grocery shopping every single day. Right. I got a pretty big family. Like I notice prices
every
on
day.
Well, pretty much, dude. Honestly, it's always
a
like
little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Yeah, it's like, hey, can you go grab this? And it's like, oh, Ziploc bags, really? Oh, wow, they're actually not expensive as I thought they were, right? So it's weird. I feel like prices are coming down. I feel like the CPI tomorrow is actually going to come down, and I feel like we're potentially going to get a rate cut next week. I know Polymarket is saying, nah, Shizzy, we ain't getting shit, bro. But it's like 98% no chance of a move. But I don't know. I think Trump's going to be in his ear.
Ooh, I gotta I can't go against Polymarket once it passed like that 85%. It's like it's a done deal, right? It's gospel at that point. It seems to be, unless like some huge event happens between now and tomorrow that's catastrophic for emergency
that could be
meeting.
CPI, right? CPI dropping to 2.4%. I mean,
yeah. Well, one thing for sure is the real estate market. I know that the Fed's probably keeping his eye on that because the sellers are getting crushed right now because no one wants to buy in these conditions.
It's kind of like NFTs, bro. Yeah. It's like when they put them up the market, these people keep front running them. My sister said the same thing. She says it's just like it's right now it's a buyer's market. It's no longer a seller's market, which was a seller's market since 2020.
Exactly right. And so, what does that mean is that buyers are going to try to control the price as much as they want. Sellers aren't budging yet. And so that means that a lot of inventory, there's a lot of extra inventory. I know Dallas, Fort Worth is getting hit hard because a lot of California people during COVID sold their house for $800K, 1.2 million. That was maybe a 2,000 square foot house. For us, that's like a mansion almost, right? Yeah. So they came over here during that period and repriced our market. So that was good for people that got in.
Yeah.
I was happy, but now there's a little bit of a repricing happening to adjust a little bit back. So the inventory's like it's really heavy right now. So the Fed has to be kind of looking at that, saying, hey, how can we got to probably step in at some point and kind of help our economy.
Yeah, 100%. And I think the CPI tomorrow, PPI on Thursday. I'm really thinking, man, these numbers are gonna come in severely low, and I think there might be even like pushed low by this administration. I'm not saying it's gonna be anything shady, but I'm not saying it's not.
Kind of sounded like it.
Well, I'm not saying it's gonna be shady. I'm just saying if these numbers come in tomorrow, let's just say 2.1, they push it at Jerome's number that he's been saying for a long time. He'll have no choice but to cut rates, and I think poly markets could significantly drop going into next week. So we'll see. All right. Let's kind of get into my guy. So Colin talks crypto. He says, I think you guys may not realize how bullish this setup is. He actually showed a pretty awesome setup here. I'm going to show it here. See, I had a couple posts from him. Let me make sure I have the right one. All right. So, all right, here it is right here.
Is it the M2 global supply chart?
So
we all know it's bullish.
No, it's not that. So well, that is obviously bullish, but he had this chart he posted here today. There it is. All right, so he's basically saying here it's a reverse head and shoulders on the, I want to say the weekly here. But yeah,
no,
so you're saying here
the
daily. So
left,
so he has this right here as a nice little face
happy
here,
face.
but he's happy face, but he said we're gonna pump and we're gonna pump hard. He has potentially hit us 150, which goes back to his chart, right? His M2 money supply chart. So he's actually given more evidence, not just the money supply, but you got a reverse head and shoulders here that's going to take us potentially to 150. So I mean, if that's right, we're going to be directly where he is saying we're going to be.
Yeah, and I mean that's a really good pattern, and it aligns with the global money supply, right? I mean, that's why I don't like when you ask me like how you feeling today. I cannot not feel at least okay because I know where we're heading here, and that sideways that we see in the kind of in the beginning of that chart right there, that was tough. No, before that, actually, I'm talking about that. No, way before. So I'm talking about two segments before that, like it right there in the beginning part of the chart.
Gotcha.
Yeah, right. And that was the part of the middle right there. So right above where your thing is. Yeah. So that was whenever you were constantly saying, "Hey, Yagobi, I don't care. Let's send it down. I'm tired of this, back and forth, basically, right?"
That was back.
Right. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
So like now that I understand how this global money to M2 money supply chart works, I could have been like not as stressed out during that period and been like, okay, we're probably going to go through this for the next 2 months. So I'm literally using this indicator for the rest of my life, for everything in life. No, I'm just kidding. but
should I buy a car? Let me check them too.
But it makes sense though, right? Because it has been leading the way and letting us know, hey, this is what we got ahead of us. So
and we should have known, right? Like out of here. I mean, like when you saw this happening with the M2, hey, go long here, right?
That's what I'm saying, dude.
Amazing swing trading chart.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, go long. Yeah, so you got to go short, go long. So yeah, I mean, right now, I mean, you should be in a long according to this chart, right? So like
conservative,
low leverage, but
conservative because they're gonna
don't go where your number. If your liquidation price is 77K, I think you're safe, in my opinion. So but hopefully. Man. And then Colin also says that the $22 trillion gold market. Let's kind of go back to his post here. He's basically saying that Bitcoin needs to be repriced because if gold is 22 trillion and Bitcoin is only 2 trillion, Bitcoin has a wide range to catch up here. And this is why I'm thinking Bitcoin's going to hit 700K. Because think about it. Bitcoin was going to get to $10 trillion, the 5x from here. And I think that's easy. I think that's easy for Bitcoin to get the 500K, in my opinion. I think Bitcoin gets between 10 and 12 trillion. It'll be maybe double the size. I do think these go up as well during that period of Bitcoin flying. But I think that, Bitcoin's going to be 12 trillion, gold's going to be 24 trillion. And you're going to see a lot of these other ones, 5 trillion from Microsoft and stuff like that. So I definitely see some bullish stuff happening this year. but it's all going to take place when Bitcoin kind of 10x's from here. So.
Yeah, and I feel like those top three stocks have kind of done musical chairs a little bit. Apple,
Yeah.
Nvidia, and Microsoft, right? They're so close to each other. But yeah, it's I do expect a separation, whether it's 3 trillion, 6 trillion between Bitcoin eventually and that first stock. But how long is that going to take? We'll see.
Yeah, man. All right. So Magic Eden finds itself at the center of a controversy after being listed as a partner on the unofficial Trump wallet. Remember that last week? Magic Eden shot up like 20-30% in price. They went from 80 cents to $1.17 and then back down to 80 cents after the Trump kids came out and said, no. We're not allowing this. So the Trump wallet is now in jeopardy, but the Trump kids are saying we're going to launch one. And potentially it's going to be a EVM style wallet, not a Solana wallet like this one was.
They're going to launch a wallet?
Yeah, well, they're actually in the progress. So they're launching a Binance Smart Chain wallet. That's going to be the first chain.
That makes a lot of sense of their reaction, right quickly, right whenever that launched. So, I mean, Magic Eden's probably going to have to completely back out of this situation, right?
They have to. Yeah.
And either just shelve the project or probably just discontinue it altogether, because I don't know how you can make that work unless you're creating a separate.
It was a fork of their personal wallet. They were just forking it and then just putting Trump stuff on it. That's all it was. In my opinion.
I feel like that was just so rushed and so like they saw dollar signs whenever they saw this opportunity and probably should have put that through legal multiple times, right? and said, hey, let's make sure this is kosher, because obviously it's not. And now Magic Eden, that had all this momentum, acquired Slingshot. And we're all in the Runes ecosystems waiting for Slingshot to do its thing and its integration. And they've been taking their sweet time, maybe because they prioritize this Trump wallet. And so I think, I don't know what's happening under the hood. We can't see that. But if that's what happened, what I just explained, I think they just need to regroup and refocus on what's important. And what's important and what got them there is the Bitcoin ecosystem. But also they can pay attention to the rest of the ecosystems, because they're doing decent in abstract and these other ones too. Not necessarily try to get these like quick cash grab dollars. They're already on their way to success. Yeah, I mean, they're successful.
Yeah. I don't actually think I think Magic Eden had to pay for this, honestly. So think about this for a second. So Trump coin, you're Magic Eden, you're looking at Trump coin, it did absolutely insane. You reach out to them because you're like, hey, they have permission from Donald Trump to do stuff with his name, right? They're obviously a part of his organization somehow, right? So you reach out to them. They're like, you reach out to them, hey, why don't you guys do a wallet? We'll fork our wallet, trump it all up. Right, we'll add all types of stuff to it. You guys can put this out as your own thing. We will put our swap in there, because that's how Magic Eden makes money, right? Their aggregator swap, and then people will use that through the Trump wallet. People download the wallet, they'll use our swap. We make money. We'll actually pay you to do this, right? So I think Magic Eden actually gave money, and this is just my thinking. I don't know this for sure, but actually gave money to the Trump coin or Fight LLC to do this. So, you know what I mean? But they thought that they would have permission because, they already using the Trump name as is. And Trump Fight LLC said, yeah, let's do it. Not thinking that the Trump kids would come out and try to fight this.
So in the end, this falls on the LLC probably, but because Magic Eden's entity came out publicly on one of the largest social platforms, the Trump team is going after them. So this is probably going to have to be like a communication back behind doors to sort this stuff out. But look, I think Magic Eden will be fine as long as they kind of get focused on what's important. And in my opinion, Q4, I still think Bitcoin ecosystem is going to really shock a lot of people. And I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity. We actually didn't even get into that dog opportunity that we talked about earlier yet.
Oh, yeah. And why don't we just hop into that? Yeah. So you mentioned to me this morning something big, right? So right now we know that dog's getting listed on Kraken. We have this post today from the Kraken official Kraken account here, and it was this, right? So I mean, the dog, it with the same rug, the same couch, the same dog, just in and out of his orange hoodie, in his Kraken hoodie, and he's taking selfies now of himself
We got a super chat from our
let's
guy.
go.
Yep,
See what happens when you
Cryptolution.
talk about dog and you get super chat.
Appreciate you, sir. He says GM Shizzy and Yagobi from the Dog Army. GM to the Dog Army and you, sir. Thank you for that super chat.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
go
yeah.
ahead.
He actually reached out to me about potentially coming on the show, so we're gonna
Oh, hell yeah.
get that going potentially for next week. That should be absolutely amazing. But dog. So they listed this morning, right? And so Kraken has a partnership with a huge influencer. That influencer goes by the name of Dave Portnoy, or El Presidente, some call him, Bar Stoli, some call him. He has a lot of different aliases, but his main one is the CEO of Barstool Sports. He controls that, one of the biggest media platforms. I mean, I get most of my sports news from Barstool, honestly. But what happens if Kraken goes to Dave and say, "Hey, Dave, we pay you monthly. We have a new listing that we like a lot. Maybe you should talk about it." And that listing being dog.
I'm a do you one better. Let's think about the infrastructure that they built for Bitcoin runes, right?
Yeah.
And then now dog. Now they go to Portnoy and they say, you know the rules, one bite. No, I'm just kidding. But they're like, but what if they're like, hey, look, this is going to be a big marketing kind of push for Bitcoin tokens that exist on Bitcoin now. And dog has the strongest community on X. So let's get this going. And if you remember, Portnoy would he would voluntarily, but I don't think he wasn't getting paid by Safe Moon or anything like that. But this is before he was really experienced, I think, and getting his feet wet. But like the thing about him is that he can really push a message. He's really strong with that. So tokens on Bitcoin, I could just see him kind of like turning red and screaming, "What are you talking about?" Dog is a token on Bitcoin. Bitcoin's $180,000. This this is the opportunity of a lifetime. So I can see that marketing. I probably did that impression horribly, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But you get so that message could really be amplified, I think, and we'll see what happens. That just kind of popped in my head. But what do you think?
Well, think about it. Portnoy's a dog guy. Mrs. Peaches. I mean, I think we all know who Miss Peaches is, right? Miss Peaches is a dog. He adopted. He's like, and now it's like at some kennel or somewhere. But I don't know what happened to Miss Peaches. He doesn't talk about it anymore. But he's a dog guy. So and if all Kraken has to do is, hey, check this out, right? Because if this is their newest listing, I mean, dude, Kraken, they're doing more PR for Bitcoin than any other coin ever. They've never pushed any coin as hard as they're pushing dog right now. And this dog's not even listed yet. You know why they're doing it? Is because their views, is because their engagement. The dog community is relentless. Anything that gets put like that, some people like it, and then they repost it just like that. It happens all day long. Kraken is nowhere near getting the engagement on anything else they post. Look at this. Like, 52 retweets. And then you go down a little bit, 187.
That's wild. That's crazy.
You know what I mean? Like, this is the main tweet up here. Main tweet, GM. And then come down a little bit, 187.
I mean,
that is why.
So that's the main tweet, really, in terms of analytics.
I mean, at the end of the day, right? I mean, that is the main tweet. Dog is going to the moon. And I think Dave Portnoy is going to push it. He just doesn't know it yet. He doesn't know it yet, but he will be. He will be pushing it for Kraken. But that's just a thought we had, right? We have no evidence of this at all. It's just something that we're kind of thinking, and another potential blow up moment for the dog in this is Bitcoin ecosystem. So
yep.
All right. So save that. All right. So the merger between American Bitcoin and Gryphon Digital. So Eric and Donald Trump Jr. backed America Bitcoin, quietly accumulates 215 Bitcoin. This is happening like every day. They've been buying more and more Bitcoin since April. They bought a total of 215, but every day they're buying a couple Bitcoin. This is a mining company that's buying Bitcoin. Think about that for a second. Normally, mining companies, what do? They sell Bitcoin. Not this one. They are actually buying it every single day. So I don't know. I'm bullish on American Bitcoin mining. I mean, this is Trump's mining company, but yeah, this is going to go public very soon.
This is another, entity or, part of the space that they're trying to shore up, I feel like, right? And this is a good sign. And it's also kind of a good sign that they really quickly got territorial with their IP with Magic Eden, because I'm in this camp that, you know, after Eric Trump and Donald Trump Jr. went on you know, some of these shows, these news channels, and they were getting grilled about the meme coin. They started, I think they're starting to say, hey, like, we got to get away from that. We got to get away from that kind of activity, that kind of reputation. Let's get more serious with the serious products. And everything else seems very serious. You're talking about stablecoin. You're talking about a portfolio that has serious tokens in it. You're talking about American Bitcoin and the Gryphon Digital merger there. You're talking about all these business happenings that is way more on the serious side. You can even kind of throw RWA stuff in there. They want to be about that. And the whole thing about the wallet that you mentioned about they're creating their own, it makes me even think even more that wallets are going to be the future banks. You know what I mean? So they want to solidify that and say, okay, we want to have that flowing liquidity of our users to be able to kind of do what banks do, and that is, you know, lend it out, earn off of interest, et cetera, et cetera. We'll see what that looks like in terms of user agreements for the wallets and all that stuff. But I feel like that's probably going to come at some point into our industry.
Yeah, no, 100%. I truly believe that as well. I think that, you know, with them having a wallet too, think about that. That's DeFi, right? Like, there's no other reason to have a wallet except to do DeFi when you're a platform like them, right? Well, you want people, you want to custody people's crypto if you're them, right? Yeah, that's what you want, because you can make money on that, right? You can do things with that, whether it's staking or something like that. Having a wallet just shows you that they want to make money on potentially a DEX. Could they be competing with PancakeSwap one day? I mean, there's a good possibility of it, honestly. So I'm curious to see what the Trump kids do next. So, all right, last thing here, if you're getting the crypto fear and greed. So SEC Chair Paul Atkins says that they are working on a policy to exempt DeFi platforms from regulatory barriers. So this is absolutely huge, man. We've never got this in crypto before, right? So originally, SEC Chairman Brian Brooks. He was the guy on his way out. He dropped a lawsuit for XRP, right? He wasn't the friendliest. I mean, but DeFi wasn't even really available when he was in there, right? So, and then we had Gary Gensler, Gary the Gun, the guy who almost destroyed crypto, put his boot around crypto's neck and said Bitcoin only, right? And now you're getting Paul Atkins here. What do you think about this?
Oh, so this is a like night and day in terms of what to expect from the chair and how they're going to treat our space, right? So this is way better. And, you know, exempting like the DeFi platforms, dude, that to me is so huge, because that was the concern. That was what was holding a lot of these entities back. Some of them, you know, they rolled the dice and they said, you know, we're just going to take every Wells notice that he throws at us and handle it accordingly. You're talking about the Uniswaps. You're talking about, you know, the chain links or whatever, all those companies. And they were able to avoid it, whether there was backdoor deals or whatever was happening. You know, they didn't land on the roulette wheel to get a Wells notice, or maybe they did, but they were able to quickly handle it. So I think this is really big, you know, exempting DeFi platforms from regulatory barriers. But that doesn't mean that they're not going to look into them. They're just going to make sure, okay, this is for sure clear cut. DeFi will kind of remove that out of the scope of what we're looking at here. And I love this because we're going to get more and more clarity with what is right and what is wrong. And people want to know in our space what is right and what is wrong, because leaving it murky actually allows more people to do wrong things.
Yeah, like, or keeping a blind eye to it is kind of what they did before, right?
Yeah.
They were letting people get rugged, but they didn't care. They're like, it's a gambling casino. Like, do what you got. But it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way. It can have regulation. And a lot of people say, oh, no, regulation, it goes against everything we stand for. It doesn't have to be stranglehold regulation either. You know what I mean? Like, it can just be, hey, you have to dox. Like, if you have a project and you collect money for whatever reason, if you crowdfund for whatever reason, you have to dox. And I think that's fair. I think that's fair. Or don't crowdfund and be a non. That's up to you. Right.
Yep,
I agree. If you're taking people's money, if you're going to raise money, then I think you have to dox. And there's a few things there. What does that do? That holds you accountable. That says, hey, if you rug these people, you're going to jail. Right. Which is very normal for TradFi. If you rug your investors, you go to jail. So
I agree. And I think for the user perspective, if they're like, well, what if I'm not a project founder and I'm just a user, but I want to be anon. I think as long as we always have our safe place, which to me is Bitcoin, then that's okay, right? And if you can find another safe place, great for you. Whether that's Monero or whatever you think that is, Litecoin or whatever. But for me, that will always be Bitcoin. That's my safe place to where if I want to send something to like another Bitcoin wallet address, I will feel like I don't have Big Brother looking over my shoulder with that, and I think that's basically what, for me personally, I'm happy for and I'm okay with. And then the other parts can be regulated, to make sure that crazy stuff isn't happening.
Yeah, 100%. And as a user, like I said, as long as you're not raising money, I feel like it's okay to be anon, right? But you do have to potentially report your shit, like, you know what I mean? Like that's between you and wherever
the government,
you live, right? So you and your government. So that is but you get to choose that, right? You get to live places where things can get lower if you choose to do so. So 100%. But let's get into today's crypto fear and greed here. So yesterday we're at a 58. I'm sorry, yesterday we're at a 55. Last week we were at a 58. Where do you think we are now? We are in the 60s, mid 60s as my hint for you.
Wow.
Today.
Mid 60s, because I thought last night. Let me see. Let me look at
the
this.
Lower than mid 60s.
Okay. 64.
Yeah, right there. Boom. So you got it. You got it right there. That's considered mid 60s, right? I was afraid you're going to say 65, so I was like, throw another there. So we're right there. 64. How do you feel? I feel 64. Yesterday I was feeling 79, but today I'm feeling 64.
When the 64 score came out, we were at 110, 250. So makes sense.
Yeah.
No, not really though. You have to remember the day before we were at 58, I think. The day before we were at 58 and we were down to like that 10. What was it on Sunday? Sunday we were all the way down to 1054. So going from up 5,000 from 58 to 64, I think that's a fair assessment. Now today it's going to be interesting how it plays out today, because we pulled back from 110, 250 to kind of 108, 300 is where we are right now, or 108, 800, sorry, 108, 800, and it doesn't really know where it wants to go right now.
Yeah, I feel like tomorrow's going to be 62, 61. I feel like we're waiting for that CPI number to come out tomorrow. I think CPI is what's going to take us to CPI and PPI are going to push us to all new highs by Friday, in my opinion. So, but we'll see. We will see. All right. Let's kind of get into that crypto Bitcoin price action. Really looking forward to this one. But this is brought to you guys by Artura.finance. Artura, they're going to be joining us a little later. They're going to be coming on. We're going to have, we're going to have our guy Instant. We're going to have a guy Murion, and they're actually going to bring on another trader. We're going to have trader talk. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. Don't miss that. It's going to be in about 20 minutes. But definitely check out Artura.finance. They're going to be going live on Hemi and Botonics, and there's potential airdrop opportunities for not only Artura.finance, but potentially the Botonics test mainnet and the Hemi mainnet. So definitely check everything out at Artura.finance.
Yep. And before we get into the Bitcoin price action, guys, if you could help us out on the YouTube side, smash that like for us, subscribe to the channel, and turn your notifications on so you know when we go live. And then also on the X side, go ahead and share the space if you don't mind, so we can onboard as many people to the space as possible. Same thing with the abstract side as well. We thank you guys so much for helping us out here. But let's take a look at Bitcoin's price action. Let me take a dive here. I'm trying to share my screen though. All right, we're going to start off with the hour chart. So let's get this going here. There it is. All right, so we are at that 108,600, right? So we pulled all the way back. We kind of wicked up here, I would say, yesterday around 4 p.m. Central, so 5 p.m. Eastern, to like 110,600. That was an interesting drive up, because yesterday, a lot of the indicators and stuff was letting me think that we were going to have a choppy and with a little bit of downtrend, maybe second half of the day, like have a little bit of upside. I did not expect us to jump from 105 to 110. I'll tell you that for sure. But, we did have the pullback early morning this morning, and then when the bell rang as well, right? So we're kind of hovering between 108,500 to 109. Let's see how the rest of today goes, though. You can see right now the Bollinger Band has kind of tightened up a little bit. That rise up did kind of open things, right? So that volatile move did happen. I should have probably expected some sort of move because it had been tight for a while. If you look back here, you know, from Saturday at 4 a.m., the band really started to tighten, right? And then eventually there's going to be a volatile move, and that happened yesterday. And so today, right now, we're kind of trying to come back into a balance. I think maybe we do see some more chop today, or like we start to see chop today. But I don't know. Like right now, looking at the leading indicators, the MACD lets me think that we want to, you know, chop with another downtrend. I don't want to say that because that's exactly how I felt yesterday. So maybe, hey, I will take one for the team. I'll be wrong again if we just go ahead and jump back up. I'll take it. But yeah, I mean, you can see the MACD sell pressure is pretty strong right here. It's actually building some momentum. It's getting a little bit bigger too, and you can see the line actually kind of going downwards. And then also the stochastics looks like it wanted to pop up and reach cross back over the oversold territory, but it did not. It reversed as well. So I don't know. Maybe we do hang out here a little bit. That was unexpected to go to 110 yesterday. So I would just keep my eye on the hour chart, the shorter time frame today, right? The next 4 hours. Let's see what happens. Let's see if this bleed down isn't necessarily like a strong bleed down, right? We've already kind of retraced about $1,500 to $2,000. So maybe that's kind of the extent that we'll see, but and maybe a little further down to 108, 105, 107.5, and then kind of balance out and then have a good second half of the day. We'll see how it plays out. But let's take a look at some of the support and resistance here for Bitcoin on the hour chart, going pulling data from 12 a.m. basically, right? So we're talking about the last 10 hours here, and you can see the level that we're at right here, 108,700. Let me blow this up a little bit here. You can see we're kind of balanced, right? So support and resistance looks a little balanced. We're trying to creep into this 108,800 area right here, but the resistance is definitely stronger. But maybe we get some big bids and pop through. That looks exactly to be what's happening. We're getting some strong bids, and it looks like it's trying to push us over, but there's definitely more resistance here. Same thing up in this area, the 108,850. So we got some battling to do here, but it looks like we're starting to try to make a little comeback on the buy side here. So we'll see if we can push through here. And then again, though, you know, that resistance is strong all the way, man. Oh my God. Yeah, so I don't know if we're going to be able to make it, you know, back up here. So I wouldn't be shocked if we, you know, have a couple of attempts and get rejected multiple times in this area, and then we start to see that, you know, downtrend into 107.5 area. But we'll see. I don't expect it like a huge dump down. But remember, I did say, you know, I wouldn't be shocked for the first 2 weeks of June if we do kind of range between the low end of that 101, 102, all the way back to 111 and back. And then eventually we start to get that momentum back in week 3 to start that next leg up. But we'll see what happens. So for the rest of today, I would say I'm in the camp that I'm going to stick kind of with my thesis of yesterday, because I'm seeing the indicators giving me the same kind of signs here that I think we kind of chop with a little bit of downtrend, but I hope I'm wrong again. I'll say that. All right, so the 4-hour chart is looking like it's starting to exhaust that buy pressure, right? I said yesterday if we did have that rise up, that we would have the continuation and possibly carry that over into, you know, Tuesday and Wednesday. So Tuesday, we're still looking higher than we were yesterday at that 105, 106 area, but we'll see if this closes up though. Right. So if I am right, this could kind of close up this buy pressure momentum, but it could get really close to really exhausting it all the way. And then Wednesday we have like a bullish morning, and then it extend as well. So we'll see how, you know, the shorter time frame plays out. But I think we're still okay. We're still alive here for tomorrow to be okay and kind of bullish. But we need the 1-hour chart to not die and kill us, basically, is what we need there. And then the weekly chart for Bitcoin here. Weekly looks like it's regaining some strength here. This is actually starting to open up. This is a good sign, because when this opens up, you know, like the weekly takes forever for a volatile move because each candle's a week, but it works the same way. You know, this opening up here and then a volatile move, this means that this will open up, right? It could have already started here, right? This could be also part of it as well. It's extended because it just takes forever. But the indicators right here let me know that, hey, we're regaining strength back. We can see that it's darkening here again. We just got to the overbought territory in stochastics. We're at a score of 86.62. So I think we're okay here. I still like where we are on the weekly chart. And I'll tell you, my main reason is that M2 global money supply, baby. So that's more making me feel positive than any of these type of indicators here. So I just feel like I know where we're heading. So that's why I'm going to stay confident in that aspect there. Let's get to the others chart for the weekly chart for the others, everything besides Bitcoin and the top 10 blue chips here. The others chart is looking like a bounce back. This is a good sign. You mentioned Ethereum looked really strong, and I looked at it on CoinMarketCap. The gains on the 24-hour and the 7-day definitely trump Bitcoin's gains. So that's a good sign. Now, with Bitcoin pulling back, the next thing we got to look for Ethereum is not to pull back as aggressive, right? To kind of sustain and then maybe even pull up. That would be a sign of, are we here? Are we at the first step of this alt season? And I hate continually saying that, but that is what we're looking for, right? And you can see this bounce back candle on the weekly chart for others is a good sign. Ethereum look good. And what did I say? Once Ethereum starts to show strength, the others are going to follow. You know, the others are a delayed follow of Bitcoin because it's kind of just looking to Ethereum. What Ethereum does, the others will do, and probably even more you know, of an intense pullback than Ethereum would be when Bitcoin dumps. As long as Ethereum, you know, doesn't take off, then it will follow Ethereum right away, and that's where we'll see the others chart really thrive here. But yeah, I think we're okay here. This is definitely a bounce back, and we'll see that on our next screen, which is going to be the crypto bubbles here. The crypto bubbles look really good, and hey, look, I mean, Shizzy called yesterday. We kind of knew it.
Yeah.
Like Fartcoin is our indicator. I think Fartcoin was up 16% yesterday or 13%, one of the two.
Yeah,
it's up 11.3% today. So I don't know. Are you calling green tomorrow for
tomorrow's
these?
Gonna be good, man. Yep, tomorrow's gonna be good. If Fartcoin says green, we are green. That's been the leading indicator, guys. Fartcoin goes down, we have to worry. So we wake up tomorrow, everything's green. Fartcoin's kind of like 0 or minus a little bit. We have something to worry about, in my opinion. But Fartcoin's been strong, and I say that because we've been watching it. And it is that leading indicator, which is kind of scary. But tomorrow's looking good. Thank you, Fartcoin. For your word of advice there, Fartcoin.
Yeah, and it's everything, guys. I mean, yesterday it was a little bit more of the memes that outperformed the utility, but today utility looks like DeFi, it's thriving. Like Uniswap up 25.1%. You see Lido up 10.6%. Ethereum up 7.1%. Cake up 6.3%. Arbitrum up 12.3%. So yeah, a lot of these utility plays. Yeah, Maker up 16.5%. Aave up 16%. This is a good sign. You know, utility coming back means that people that are seriously kind of pouring into some of these utility plays. To me, that is showing that liquidity is coming back in serious liquidity too. Like, I'm not saying that serious liquidity doesn't pour into memes, but they tend to pour more into utility over time, right? So this is definitely a good sign in my opinion. Let's take a look at the 101 through 200 on the crypto bubbles here. Mog up 15.2%. Wow, that's a huge jump. Maple syrup up 17.5%. So another utility up quite a bit here.
Solar, man. Yeah, I used to hold that AXL. It's a chain on Cosmos. It's
Yep. And then Starknet up 5.2%. And then you got Dog up only 1.4%. Right here. Yeah, come on, Dog Army. We need a little bit more of Dog cash tagging here. You got Turbo up 2.9%. Hex is up 6.1%. I think once you start to see Hex up like 15%, 20%, that's whenever RH comes back.
Well, I think you need him to start live streaming again. Once he starts live streaming, Hex and Pulse are gonna fly. He is one of the biggest influencers in the world. He can influence you to do whatever he wants for some reason. I don't know why. Not me personally, but his community, he can pretty much influence them to do whatever. But he is the second largest ETH holder with that sacrifice bag. So we'll see what he could just dump ETH for Hex right now, and he could pretty much take Hex double the price of Hex just with his ETH bag. So but yeah, man. But let's get into today's roll call here. Let's see who is here. Let's see who is out here showcasing their words here. So it's ASAP Benji, obviously number one today, my guy. I think it is your 12th win of the year. Congratulations to you, my friend. Let me actually show the chart here. So your last win was on the 19th of May. Congratulations to you, my friend. You have your 12th win of the year. This week was Webdro, Lackey Lukey, and Danny Boy just kind of fighting the last 2 weeks, and you come in and you steal one. Congratulations to you. But not far behind you was the legendary Lackey Lukey right there. So this was at 137. And this was also at 137, bro. That was like seconds apart, bro. Yeah, 100%. ASAP Benji goes, Reaper be nice. Reaper did not reap you this time, my friend. Mats is here. Mats was right there as well. Shout to Mats. Danny Boy says, good game. Benji, keep them coming. Yeah, man. Webdro says, close one. Congrats, ASAP Benji. Yup. Then we have, let's see who we have. One plus at is here. Shout out to one plus at. He said, farts that bring tears. All right. What a comment. Comment of the day so far. Let's see who can beat him. Danny Boy says, GM, Bambalands on ETH might be the Somnia NFT play. They will migrate with many. Danny Boy is in the depths, bro. Shout out to you, man. Legendary find there if that one blows up. I think you said it was free. ASAP says waiting for ETH to start mooning. Yeah, I think we're all waiting for ETH to kind of take the big boy reins, but we'll see. ASAP Benji is here. Nighthawk UXL says GM when Reaper. Ooh, Nighthawk is just is venom right there. My guy. And Nabob is here. Shout out to Nabob. ASAP Benji says Danny Boy once beaten, twice shy. Hell yeah, I love that. And let's see, we got Ordinal's tweets here. Shout out to Ordinal's tweets. And we got Bitcoin is Truth. Abstract is here. Satoshi Nakamoto is here. A Vader time. Let's go. Kane99 says 115 today. I definitely hope you're right, man. That would be absolutely amazing. Hydro Sapien, my guy, legendary. If you guys ain't following him on X, man, legendary follow. Go follow my man Hydro Sapien. Chief Axel's here like every single day. Appreciate you, my friend, every day. Malam Yuri, legendary. And then we have the absolute coach. We got Cash Cats here with the coffee and the donuts and the dog go to the moon. Shout out to Cash Cats, man. My guy, appreciate you, my friend, here. He's back. When Cash came back, bro, that's when our numbers went up. I mean, our numbers are doing phenomenal today. Thank you, Cash, man. It's all because of you, my friend. And we got Max says reposted the stream. Yes, please, guys, repost that. Someone new making roll call for the very first time. We got my man Farrot Earl. Thank you so much for being here today, man. Really means a lot to us. And then Sammy Turnpike, right down the street. Good to be here. How are you, Shizzy and Mr. Yagobi? Love you guys. Love you, Sammy.
Appreciate it, sir.
Today, man. Luna is here. So reposted the stream. Thank you so much, Luna. That really helps us a lot. Really appreciate that. Patty Poo at making roll call every single day. The Bitcoin machine himself. He said, you're right, Mr. Yagobi. This is from Sammy Turnpike. Those Cali folks make the housing market in Dallas go gaga. It's crazy. You're damn right. So we got someone right there in Dallas feeling that as well. And then Crypto Illusion, obviously. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. It says GM Shizzy and Yagobi from the Dog Army. Let's go. One of the generals in the Dog Army right there. He's gonna blow up huge, dude, when dog rips, man. I'm jealous of your engagement. Oh, no offense. Chota is here. Shout out to Chota Satoshi, my guy, every single day. Danny says, Dog Army, claim this airdrop. Ordism is handle 1 hour window, I believe. It will announce. I don't think this is live yet. It should be any minute. All right. And then we got some kick stuff here. He says, Lyric says, hey, how are you? I really love your stream. Wow, I'm impressed. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We actually have a kick watcher, which is nice. We just started over to there last week, so
don't lie. Were you expecting some sales pitch? I was
eventually in there. I was like from the kick community so far, but just like this one, like I was expecting this to pop up eventually.
Yeah, exactly. But we welcome him, right?
Yeah, 100%. If you are not a bot, we really appreciate you watching from the kick part of it. 100%. Crypto Decoded is here. Wow, beta calling for doxing. I'm a beta B. All right.
Oh, wow.
Bro, I'm saying if you raise money, that's all I'm saying. All right. That's all I said. If you crowdfund, you should raise money. So if I'm a beta B for saying that, then so be it. But then then figure out another way to get money. Like I don't know what to tell you. Danny Boyce is 55. I thought maybe it was 58. I'm curious what he's talking about here. Yeah, I don't know.
55, 58. I'm not sure actually. Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe the cost of the NFT or something. I'm not sure. Dumbo is here. Says GM Ghosty on fire last week. Ghosty Cash, the tap token, really? We actually did a video with Benny. We should have asked him about Ghosty. I totally forgot.
Me too.
But yeah, we didn't ask about Ghosty in that one. Danny Boy says also about the claim. It was very easy. All you have to do is paste your address in there, and you do not have to connect. That's always good. 100%. Ricky Ricardo is here. He says all I want is to finally silence the scream inside me. Ooh, well, he's approved that believing in myself through the hell that life can throw wasn't in vain. It seems like this is wild. By stacking XRP for 5 years. Okay, now XRP will be a proof of faith. Yeah, dump your XRP. Buy dog. No, I'm just kidding. Do whatever makes you happy, bro. If buying XRP makes you happy, I think XRP is going to 5x from here. But congratulations to you, man. If that makes you financially free, 100%.
Yeah, well, I mean, if he's been stacking for 5 years, then probably 5x is a good return there, right?
Dude.
Yeah.
You're buying 30 cents.
I will say this. Look, I know that like you and I both are probably not the craziest about XRP, but one thing I will say is that they're talking to a lot of projects outside of their ecosystem. So they're trying some I don't think Brad Garlinghouse is behind it, but maybe some other people that are more in tune, I think, with the people that are actually in crypto are. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, I mean, and the XRP army will change my mind, right? If I see them really kind of pushing it, I mean, at the end of the day, our XRP is a community coin, right? It's a community coin. It's no different than Doge. It's really no different than anything else, in my opinion. The community gets behind it and they push it, and they're okay with Brad Garlinghouse and the team dumping on them to expand Ripple, who's going public. I mean, that's loyalty right there, 100%. So we'll see if the XRP community kind of steps up here and pushes this coin to Valhalla. MoChain is here, so I'm back. What's up, OnChain guys? What's up, MoChain? We need some more MoChain on OnChain. Thank you so much for being here, sir. Says let's check the ICP chart today. ICP chart. Maybe we should add that. That is a kind of a Bitcoin ecosystem token now, right? MoChain also says, everyone, let's hit the heart emoji for 2 minutes just to support. Yes, please, guys, like the stream. It would mean so much to us, 100%. Lucky Lukey says, GM. PJNZ says, good morning, lads. Good morning to you, my friend. Cash Cat says, appreciate your work to the Bitcoin ecosystem. Thank you so much, Cash. We really appreciate you hopping in here with us. Ricky Ricardo says, what is so ironic about XRP that it hasn't even hit its all-time high yet and profit locked in at the current prices? Yeah, I mean, dude. Make money, bro. If you can make money in XRP, do your thing, brother. Danny Boy says it's live now. And Danny Boy was talking about the fear and greed. That's what he was saying about that. That's kind of how he feels. 100,
makes sense.
55. Yeah, 100%, man. And then Tim Bake with the strong arm. But appreciate every single one of you guys who makes the roll call each and every day, man. It means so much to us. But now it's time to get into our next segment here. And every single Tuesday, we have our good friends over at Artura. So Artura, they're building something really special. We talk about them every single day, guys. But if you have some time, head over to Artura.finance and check these guys out. They're going live on mainnet probably soon, man. Really excited for that. Remember, they're going to be on Botonix, the Bitcoin Layer 2 Spider Chain, and Hemi. Hemi is also a Bitcoin Layer 2 that is backed by Binance. We talk about that every single day, so you guys already know it. Air farm that, right? Definitely air farm. That's my new phrase. I'm not going to say, but yeah, man. But let's get this started. Let's bring up Murion. Let's bring up Ace. What's up, guys?
Hi, guys. How's it going?
It's going well. How are you guys doing?
Perfect. Market is heating up pretty nice.
It's going well. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah. You're good.
Sick. Let's do it. Let's run it. Let's fucking go, boys.
I like the energy, man.
Yeah, man. Let's go.
So we got Ace, which is a core contributor trader with the team at Artura. And so this is your first time getting introduced to our audience. And so I'd like to give you kind of a second, maybe go into a little bit of your experience trading, not too much. It's up to you. Maybe introduce yourself to the audience here.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Ace. Really just started trading about almost about like a year and a half ago. It's been interesting. It's been a lot of ups and downs, but for the most part, I think market has been like very great, giving a lot of good opportunities over the past like year and a half. I really got heavily influenced by like my brothers. They've been trading like options for a period of time and like Forex, and I was like, okay, cool. I like crypto. I think crypto's cool. It's 24/7. You can kind of trade all around the clock. So about Q2, about 2024, I really started taking it like really seriously, and then yeah, now I'm here and probably won't be leaving anytime soon. Probably until I die. So yeah,
That's dedication for sure. But
It's a lifestyle now. That's a lifestyle.
it is. That I think that's really the only way to succeed is to make it a lifestyle. It's kind of like if you want to lose weight, you can do water fast for like a month, but you're going to put it all back on. But if you really want to keep it off, you got to have a lifestyle. And so Ace, since there's probably a lot of listeners that are trying to get started in trading, what's 1 or 2 bits of advice you could give like a beginner?
Ooh, that's a great question. Okay, well, this is probably going to sound like very different than what you normally hear. Like, people probably tell you like go on YouTube and go this and go look at this person, go study this person. I think the best advice I could give is understand your personality first, because I feel like once you understand your personality, then I'll be able to tell you which trading style is more favorable for you, right? Because what works for me won't work for the next person. Like a person is a good scalper based off like their personality, then I try to scalp. That's not me, right? I like swing trading. I think that's a little bit more cool. I like to put in my trades and have them sit over a period of time. And the second thing that I would say is just try to be consistent. Like with like whether that's like your setups, whether that's like the pairs that you're trading. I think that's like very important for people that's trying to get into trading. And don't really look at what everybody else is doing. Like if someone else is like making a ton of money, because at the end of the day, you see this person making a lot of money, you're trying to copy their trades. You don't know how much adversity or resilience they had to have to get to that point to make a lot of money. So long story short, block the noise, focus on yourself, focus on steady progress every single day. And then once you do that, you'll be able to find your style, understand your personality more, and then things will be a little bit more seamless. You could take bits and pieces of everyone, but for the most part, like you got to do it your way. And I think the best way of doing it your way is like learning about yourself first, which trading teaches you. It reveals like all your flaws that you've been kind of like suppressing and hiding from yourself, and that you have to face them head on with the market because it exposes like your emotional vulnerability and stuff.
I think that is probably one of the best answers I've heard, honestly, because the individual strategy matters so much. And if you're a highly emotional person, you have to tailor your strategy around that. And it's like personal development, like he says, you kind of pull out like all of your like emotional flaws there. So really love that answer, Ace. And also kind of not looking at other people because that creates FOMO, that rolls into your emotions and all these things. So I really love that. All right, Murion, how'd you like those answers, by the way? I'm curious.
He's like one replica of me. He's like, I like this guy a lot. Yeah, so like he said, training will push you to become the best version of yourself. And like he said, it's you versus you, not you versus market, not you versus easy. Like it's only you versus you. And yeah. I love the introduction that he said that you need to choose the trading style that fits you, because not everybody can be a scalper. You don't maybe have the mind for that fast action. You're like swinger, like Aces and myself. You let the time do the job to price develop, and I completely agree with him.
Yeah, 100%. So to me, it's like, be obsessed or be average. And then I'm hearing, know yourself, know your personality, know who you are. If you're somebody who can't sleep at night, maybe don't be in a trade on some leverage, right? So if you have to really understand yourself and really kind of know who you are, maybe you're a day trader because you can't sleep with a trade. Am I right?
Yeah. But as always, you need to detach from the outcome because market is random. You can't know. You don't know the outcome of each trade, and just agree with that randomness, adapt and go with it.
Yeah, I absolutely love that kind of mindset there. But okay, Ace, I'm going to put you in a little situation here because I take it that you are more of a swing trader, which I like that, and this is the reason why I don't trade a lot. But my emotions kind of pull me into like trying to scalp because it's quick and stuff. But that's why I say I need to take a break. But okay, let's say that there's this, you're swinging Bitcoin, right, and you're doing a great job. You're whatever indicators you're using from a large scale down to the small, you feel you're in the zone. But then like let's say Artura lists Dog Go to the Moon. It's a new token that's getting a lot of hype right now. Kraken's about to list it. Do you play in that world at all? Or do you just say, I'm staying away from that? I'm sticking more to the blue chips. My swing strategy is all I'm about.
It's a great question. Glad you asked. See, I used to play in that world, but then I realized that I'd rather just stick to the majors than the blue chips because you could kind of predict the movements better in some ways. Obviously, it's always going to be a lot of open interest and a lot of liquidity there. So I like to stick to those, right? For example, just to give like a small strategy, like if I'm looking at Bitcoin, right, it's a plethora of things that you can look at. Obviously, you can look at the chart. You can look at the volume range on the chart too as well. You can look at the RSI. But the main thing that I like is like the coin glass liquidation heat map. And it gives you like a better understanding of where you see like prices are going to get liquidated at. And how you tell that is by you look at the chart, the heat map chart, and the more yellow it is towards the price, that's how you know when liquidations are coming, whether that's shorts or whether that's longs. So it was just like I said before, like it's just easier for me and my brain just to stick with the blue chips. Like I just really just like trading Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, a little bit of Hyperliquid. And Fartcoin, of course, that's like one of the best meme coins to ever exist. But yeah, that's pretty much the world that I stay in. Like even if we see like great coins get listed, like Dog back on Kraken and like Artura and everything like that, I went, okay, cool. That's really good that coin got listed. But I'm gonna stick to what I'm good at and just double down on there.
Gotcha. And it sounds like until either that you stay in that mindset or until that coin has established itself to get away from the volatile movement. Is that correct?
Yeah, 100%.
Perfect. Go ahead, Shizzy.
No, I was going to ask you a question. What about like kind of like hedging? Maybe you're short Bitcoin, but maybe you're long one of the tokens that actually follow Bitcoin. Is that something like that? Something you do maybe?
Yeah. That's what I like to do. I like to either be long Bitcoin or short Ethereum, or long Ethereum or short Bitcoin. Like that's like the best strategy that I've seen work well for me, and where it's like allowed me to be like pretty profitable.
Love that. Murion, what about you? Dog is most likely going to come to Artura at some point. Do you kind of wait until the volatility leaves that token, or do you feel like you have a little bit of you that does scalp those kind of opportunities because they could be really rewarding? Yo. Can you hear me?
I think my Wi-Fi. Yeah, I hear you now.
Okay. So my question was,
okay, yeah. So I just said, yeah. So I don't like hedging because my strategy is based on like trading the weaker or a stronger pair, depending if I'm bullish or bearish. For example, if I'm looking at trading Bitcoin and Ethereum, let's say I'm looking for longs on them, I'll see based on the market structure and liquidity and fair value gaps on all time frames, I'll choose the stronger pair out of those two and trade that pair because it's higher probability for it to pump, right?
Yeah. I mean, I can see both strategies for sure. The hedging strategy.
Yeah.
The hedging strategy.
Yeah.
But my question for you, because I think you missed it, was do you play with new coins though? Like for example, Dog Go to the Moon, or do you try to scalp those because you can really win big, but you can lose big, or do you wait till they calm down and aren't as volatile?
For getting into them with size, I rather wait a bit to see like is it established or not. But new pairs like that are coming like in a day, I don't like so much because that's mostly gambling. But if they're like older than 2 or 3 days, and I'm seeing that they can get some traction, they have some good community, and that they are not rugged already, I'll play with them, of course.
Yeah, man, 100%. Ace, I have a question for you. So,
Mhm.
what's your like routine for trading? Do you wake up every morning? You put your face in a cold plunge? Do you go outside, jump in the take a run? Like, what do you do to prepare yourself for a day of trading?
Well, I like to wake up like before like market open, probably about like 2 hours before, like around like 6:45, maybe 7 o'clock. I go in and I check out the trading economics, which is a huge calendar, like what's going on, like on the macro side of things. I look at that first, like see what events that we have like coming up. I know you guys are talking about like CPI coming soon.
Yeah.
I think like that's important. And what I really do is just like rank it from like the highest impact, of, like which one's going to be most important. And then from there, I will go out and check on. I recently just started looking at Durbit for like the options. Yeah. The options put calls just to see like what the market sentiment is. So I'm starting to practice that to learn a little bit more about that, incorporate that. But then the other things is like what I said, like, I would check like the liquidation heat map. I would see like what's going on in group chats that I'm in, like see like who's long and like who's short, see what the open interest is like. There's another thing that I check out called light lens, like to see what whales are doing, like if they're mostly short, if they're mostly long, like within the space, and that like pretty much like helps me out. I think like with like the routine with trading, like for me, it just became like pretty straightforward after like a year and a half. First, like I would do like all of this. I would do all the extracurricular stuff. I would go put pile my face into an ice bowl and like
I was
all
just
this
kidding, but yeah.
all this other stuff. But then like it just started to become like simpler. I just started to like
Yeah.
surround myself around more educated people and just really looking at the indicators, and I could tell you like exactly what's happening. But I do want to give like a good shout out like to the Artura Whales chat too. A lot of guys in there like really talk about like the market sentiment and like whether they're long or short, or what's happening. And another chat that I'm in with a few friends of mine that we really just go after it, right? Get on VC, see what we're doing, see what the market is looking at, and then we go from there. So TLDR, I would wake up, check out the trading economics, which is like a huge calendar, see what's going on with macro. Then after that, I will go look at the heat maps. Then I will see what whales are doing, if they're long or short right now, whether that's on BTC, Ethereum, or Sol. Then I will check out my group chats and see like what's happening there, see what the common consensus is there. And then I will look at Durbit just to see like what the options put calls are at, to see a better market sentiment idea.
Yeah, I love that. You're actually the first person I've ever talked to that actually said they actually check the options, because that's actually a really smart technique, because you can kind of see where people are thinking, kind of like in the long term, right? Whether that's 3 weeks, 2 weeks out, or a month or a year out, right? So that's actually really good for a swing trader that I never even like really realized.
Yeah, I wanted to give this is like a few good friends of mine.
Well, you
One
got
of
some
the,
friends in the chat here, brother. So
oh
you
yeah,
got Silly, you
yeah.
got it's strong right now.
Yeah, Shane, Squad, 360, and Silly, like they've been helping me out a lot for like the past year and a half as like got into trading. Silly's a fairly young guy, but he's like really, really good when it comes to technical analysis. And Shane has been in this space, has been trading for like the past like 4 years. So like he looks at a chart and he can tell you like what's happening without even using like any indicators. So for me, like I think like it's been huge. Like I think like one of the biggest things is you got to have like the right people around you when it comes to this stuff, because as we've spoken about earlier, it could get very like overwhelming and people could get like very deep into their emotions when it comes to this. So I think it's like very important to like have like people who've been there before. For example, it's just as simple as an NBA team. You got a bunch of young guys on a team that's doing well, that has this fiery energy, but then you need that veteran who's been in the playoff experience, who's been in the Game 7, who's been in the NBA Finals, to tell you like, hey, when they throw this coverage at us, this is what we do. I've seen it before in the previous playoff series I was in, and then go from there. So yeah.
Pascal Siakam. I mean, that's the main
Yeah,
reason why the
perfect
Pacers are in
example.
there. So exactly, yeah.
Yep. And it goes back to kind of iron sharpens iron a bit too, right? You want to hang out with who you want to be. If you want to be a lawyer, hang out with people that are lawyers that, try to at least or whatever. And that's what it seems like you guys are doing. And that's such a big part, I think, is just surrounding yourself with community, like you said. And look, it's obviously working for you. They're showing up to the show and support. You guys are supporting each other. So I absolutely love that.
Cool.
Absolutely love
that.
Yeah. Next question, real quick for both of you. I'll go Murion first, and then Ace. Murion, are you risk on or risk off still right now?
Risk on, all in.
Go finally, I'm finally here. Let's go.
That was hard to get him to that point. I'll tell you guys, if you're new to the show, it's been hard to get Murion to say that. So that definitely feels good. Ace, what about you? Being a swing trader, swing trader is definitely a little bit more conservative. If you're sticking with that, are you risk on in terms of, do you feel like the next 3 to 6 months is going to be like a lot of opportunity, even from a swing trader standpoint, like ample opportunity? What do you think?
Oh, I'm risk on too, just like Murion. No risk, no Rari.
Yeah, love that.
Yeah, man. I'm curious to your opinion on this chart, Ace, because we got Murion's opinion on it last week. So this is the global M2 money supply Bitcoin. I'm sure you are very aware of this chart as a trader. You're probably looking at this, but I'm curious, what's your opinion? Do we follow this, or is this maybe trash?
I think we follow it. It's been pretty accurate from the first time that I've seen it from a good friend who mentioned it to me, and I've been put in time to pay attention to watch it, and it's been pretty accurate ever since, to predicting the ups and the downs and everything like that. So
yeah,
I think it's probably one of the easiest indicators that's been out there this cycle, and it's been overlooked by a lot of people.
100%. I agree with you so much on that, because and where it gets tricky is the people that scalp trade that try to follow this to a T, because they're gonna hit the stop losses on scalp traders that over leverage themselves, right? But if you're a conservative swing trader and you're responsible, whatever your strategy is, that M2 global money supply is a great indicator. Don't you agree?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
If James Wynn didn't over leveraged, he would print now.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that? That whole,
I think it's a psyop. I think he's he either is doing something with Hyperliquid, or look, Shizzy thinks that the guy paid $94 million for 300,000 followers. Not directly.
I said 4 million. I said 4 million because that was his initial investment.
It still hurts though. You lose 94 million.
Dude, he gained 330,000 followers. He can make that money in I'm sure he's getting $90,000 from Twitter a month.
Yeah, but $94 million is so hard to make.
I'm just saying it was for him. It was just 4 million. He might have a partnership with Hyperliquid to where it's hey, yo, don't take this money out, right?
And it's y'all's money, right? It's y'all's money.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's Hyperliquid, right? So I don't know. I can see both. I can see both. Both of those.
What about you, Ace? You asked the question. I'm curious what you think.
100% psyop. Come on. Anybody with a brain know. And here's why. The market was quiet. The TL was quiet. Everybody, the trenches were down. Nobody didn't know what was going on. And then boom, we needed a light show. We needed some fireworks in the market. We needed some fireworks on Twitter just to get people moving. And now the whole attention just shifted to him, while people could do whatever they want in the back end. But in my opinion, it was just a psyop. I think it was a good marketing stunt for Hyperliquid. I think that was really cool. But I mean, yeah, come on, guys. Let's get real.
Yeah,
I do think that's why the market dipped last week, though. I think everyone was just trying to liquidate James Wynn, right? So if it was a psyop or not, I just feel like that's why we didn't have the upward momentum that I think we should have had last week, especially. I mean, everyone thinking we're going to have a bullish summer. It's hard to think that way. So, Mary, I'm curious to your opinion. You've been trading for a long time, throughout every single summer, probably. Summers have been really hard to trade, I'm sure. Do you think the summer's going to be any different?
Yeah, this summer is giving some chances to be a bullish one, which is pretty strange.
Yeah, I agree with that. Do you also agree about the thesis of James Wynn being a psyop? It's fake, or do you?
I want to get Mary's opinion.
Yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, but I told you, he's either a big gambler, the craziest ever, or the same thing as you guys told.
Yeah. And you have to remember too, there was a lot of hate being built up going towards the leverage platforms, the centralized exchanges, the winter mute, all that stuff. Maybe they all were like, hey, we got to divert this attention because they're gonna do what they want with the price regardless, you know, in terms of like the shorter price range movement, because it's a business. It's a business, right? So and so this kind of takes the attention away from them. So
and real quick, think about this, right? Udi he posted he got $36,000 last month for well, I think it was like last week for, you know, being an influencer on X, right? James Wynn is 3 times the size of Udi, which probably means he's getting like $90,000 a month. So in exchange for losing that $4 million, potentially $90,000 a month for the rest of your life, I mean, that's a win.
Yeah,
right?
he's playing that long-term game, exactly. Delayed gratification.
So, talk about delayed, 100%. So. But I also don't think he was trying to lose 100 million. I just think that's what happened. It wasn't intended to be that way. It's just kind of what happened. So.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I don't think we'll ever know. At the end of the day, they're not going to come out and be like, "Hey, we got y'all," you know. So, but man, this has definitely been a fun segment. You know,
great time.
Yeah, definitely. Ace, we'd love to have you back on as well. You know, Murion, you're always welcome back on the show. And maybe, Ace, we can do like a pre-recorded episode to kind of give some tips to some of the audience, Artura audience, as well as our audience. And then, you know, we can highlight your trader group as well. You know, we want to highlight those people that are in the trenches with you as well. So
let's do it. Let's run it, boys. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, man.
Let's do it.
We got 441 people in here right now. Ace, I would love for you to give your final words, man. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you guys like having me on today. I think my final words would be is don't give up on yourself, because you could be right one moment away from striking the gold, and most times like you're closer than you think. And like I said, just keep that confidence going and understand that every day you wake up is another opportunity to fight the war. So as long as you got that, you got your sword and you got your armor, then you just got to keep it pushing. But other than that, I would love to be on a podcast again with you guys. So looking forward to it. This was really good.
Awesome.
Love it, man. I'm ready to run through a wall with that speech, bro. Let's go. Let's go.
Let's run it. Let's run it.
Murion, same thing, man. Final words. Just want to kind of thank you for being here today.
Stay focused. Lock in. Now on-chain summer is coming. Artura's main episode.
Let's
go.
On-chain summer, baby.
Let's run it.
Awesome.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Yep. Appreciate
Thanks,
you
boys.
both. We will talk to you both soon. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
See you guys. I got Silly said Ace equals Alpha. Yeah, man, dude. It was awesome having him. I can't wait to do a full episode with him, kind of learn about his experiences and his setup and stuff like that. It would really be awesome. So look out for that, guys. But I think that's our show for you guys today. 442 people in here on YouTube and X, not to mention everyone on Twitch, Rumble, Abstract, and Kick. And then we're going to be on Spotify later with the upload. But appreciate every single one of you guys, man, every single day. It's so awesome to be able to do this.
Absolutely, man. And those 2 bits of advice he gave in the beginning was awesome, dude. Like, you know, tailor it towards yourself, know your weaknesses and all that stuff. But yeah, like Susie said, man, we appreciate you guys. Without you guys, we couldn't do this every day. We thank you guys so much from the bottom of our hearts. If you could also check out our partners, we would greatly appreciate that. They're kind of the second half of what allows us to do this, right? So Sats Terminal is the aggregator DEX for the entire Bitcoin ecosystem. You're going to find the most liquid runes, the best prices there at satsterminal.com. And right now you can actually earn Amber points as they started their Amber is Forever campaign. You can learn more about that tomorrow as we have them on for a live segment, as we do every Wednesday. We'll have the CEO Stan on and possibly some other team members. But yeah, if you go to satsterminal.com, connect your wallet for the first time, you get 1,000 Amber points. If you refer somebody else to the website, you get 500 Amber points. So there's a lot of different ways to earn these Amber points. And these Amber points are going to go towards something alpha in the future related to Sats Terminals. All I can say, but you guys can put 2 and 2 together. In the future, they're going to have their bridging and staking available as well, guys. This is the team that everybody's trying to connect with. So make sure you're connected yourself and you're swapping your runes there on the front end at satsterminal.com. And then BetBTC is the predictions marketplace of the Bitcoin ecosystem. All you need is some Bitcoin, a Bitcoin wallet, and 6 Bitcoin blocks, and you can start placing bets in their Blitz markets. Their Blitz markets is a 10-minute market to where you can lock in the price of either Bitcoin, BNB, Solana, and you can pick it either going up or down from that price, and then another additional 10 minutes to see if you were correct or incorrect with that wager. Make sure you're responsible with that. Of course, it is kind of like a leverage approach with that. But guys, in the future, they're going to have amazing features on their platform with create your own markets that you can earn up to 1.5% of the total volume. I'm so excited about that. And then also, if you refer a friend, you can earn 1% of their total transaction volume as well. Head over to betbtc.win today to dive into their docs, join their community on their Discord and everything else. And then Emblem Vault is the interoperability tooling for the Bitcoin ecosystem, more specifically focused on ordinals. You're going to be able to jump your ordinals from Bitcoin Layer 1 to Ethereum. They already have their first collection over there, the Taproot Wizard. So if you're part of that community, you can actually take your wizard over and you can loan it, get a loan against it. And then in the future, you're going to be able to do this for Merlin, for Base, for Solana even. And you're going to be able to utilize their AI agent Hustle to help you do that once they add the Bitcoin tech stack to Hustle. Right now, though, you can use Hustle to help you in the trenches of Solana. Believe me, I've been in those trenches and you need somebody to, if you're alone, you're going to feel,
I need help.
You're going to break down, start crying over there. No, I'm just kidding. But what I'm going to tell you is that Hustle's features and stuff, man, gets you really through that ecosystem. Research tells you, breaks down the holders, the coins, analytics, all those great things. And if you head over to Agent Hustle.ai, you can actually use him for free right now, but eventually they are going to integrate their token into their business model. So test it out right now just to see if it's for you. I love it. I use it on my day-to-day when I'm in the trenches over there. Also, they have their TGE for their Bitcoin room for their overall ecosystem called the Emblem Founder Vault keys. If you head over to OpenSea, you can actually participate in their pre-sale over there. If you search Emblem Founder Vaults, it is in an NFT format, ERC 721 right now. But once they get close to the TGE, they're going to give you guys instructions on how to get those Bitcoin runes out of the vault into your Bitcoin wallet. So we're really bullish on this team. They're building multiple products, and these guys are OGs in the space as well. So make sure you head over to emblem.vision, join their Discord. They're really good with their community over there, and you can ask them any questions that you have. And then Artura.finance. We just had these guys on, right? They're going to be building the leverage and perps DEX of the Bitcoin ecosystem, first launching on Botonic's Bitcoin Layer 2, the Spider Chain. Should be some exciting co-marketing going on with that, so you can see where you guys can benefit. You can earn the XP points utilizing their platform, but also Botonix is going to have something up their sleeve, we believe. So make sure you're paying attention to that. And then shortly after that, they're going to be launching on Bitcoin Hemi Layer 2 that's backed by Binance Labs as well. So you're going to be able to trade synthetic Bitcoin fungible tokens like Dog Go to the Moon, Billion Dollar Cat, eventually Ordi and Sats, possibly maybe some Alkanes as well. They're here to support the Bitcoin fungible token ecosystem, what the community wants, right? As well as that, you're going to be able to trade popular tokens outside the ecosystem, the XRPs, the TAOs, the Ethereums. But let's say you don't want to, you're not a trader, you don't want to, get into the trading activities. You can participate in adding liquidity to their vaults. That kind of helps the overall ecosystem there, and you can earn passively that way. But head over to Artura.finance, join their Discord, because there's a lot of great information over there to kind of guide you through their ecosystem. And then fluidtokens.com is the UTXO wizard devs. They started on Cardano, built a lending and borrowing platform over there, and moved over to Bitcoin, did the same thing over here, but they built out so many more things. The first to offer Bitcoin Layer 1 staking vaults, guys, to retail users. So if you did stake your dog go to the moon, make sure you claim that. It's claimable right now. You will get back your original dog plus your rewards in one transaction. So make sure you do that. There's going to be a season 3 for dog, which is exciting. But that's going to be coming a little bit in the late summer, early fall. But just be prepared if that's something you want to participate in. If you're a founder of an ordinal collection, or you etched a rune with an established community, key phrase, established community. It doesn't have to be a big one, but at least some sort of momentum with a community. Then head over to their Discord, ask them how to get started with the staking vault for your community. They will walk you through that. They have a team waiting to answer all those questions that you have. And then if back to the Cardano side, if you're familiar with Cardano, you can actually earn Babel fees on their Aquarium platform, right? So if you want to participate in that, then you can earn Babel fees there. So exciting over there. And last thing on the Bitcoin side, sorry to go back and forth, but you can utilize their airdrop tool if you are a founder of a runes community. You can utilize that. It's very efficient. Airdrop runes, very price efficient, and time. You can either upload a CSV, Excel, or Google Sheets file, or do it manually one by one. But head over to fluidtokens.com, dive into their community as well, and learn as much as you can about them. And then Tokyo Wallet is the multi-chain smart wallet. If you have an Apple iPhone, head over to the Apple App Store to download that. If you have an Android, head over to Google Play to download it. You can actually swap for Cardano tokens. You can swap for Bitcoin runes, as they partnered with Sats Terminal, and in Cardano side, they partnered with the biggest aggregator over there as well. So you can swap for SNEC on the Cardano side, DOG on the Bitcoin side, other tokens that are in those ecosystems. And guys, there's more ecosystems coming. Their whole objective is to create the smoothest UI UX for everybody. They're here to take over the wallet game. I'm telling you that straight up. But download the app, use it, let us know your feedback, and we will update the team as well. So head over to Tokyo.io. And I do know they're about to release an announcement regarding ways to earn with the token as well. And then Merlin Chain is uniting Bitcoin strength with the power of AI. You can utilize the Wizard AI 0.03 version, which will guide you through the Merlin Chain ecosystem. It can help you stake. It can help you swap. And speaking of staking, if you go to merlinchain.io and click the stake link, you can actually participate and help secure the chain with their proof of stake options. You have two options: the flexible option, which doesn't lock you in. The only time that you have to have a waiting period is when you withdraw. You have to wait 7 days. That's it. But it is a day-to-day type of flexible program there. And then you have the bonded, which is a 6-month lockup. So the flexible, you earn 15% APR. The bonded, you earn 45% APR, but you can actually withdraw the rewards in the bonded on a day-to-day basis, but it is locked for 6 months. So you got to make that adult decision yourself if that's something you want to participate in, but it's really good APR, in my opinion, for a proof of stake, right? And Merlin Chain is just continually growing momentum. They're one of the 11 DAO members for Rep Bitcoin. They are in the Binance Alpha program. They are on Binance Perps and Leverage. So they're just got a lot of momentum going, right? So head over to merlinchain.io, learn more about them, and join their community as well. And then our integrated partners are Jungle, which was formerly known as Foxy AI, building the metaverse on Bitcoin called the Bitverse, and the first-person shooter game called Cypher Striker. We are planning a pre-recorded episode with them to dive into a little bit of what they've been building, so look out for that. And then Ordinal Hive is your aggregator, Ordinal Marketplace. So similarly to what Sats Terminal is doing, Ordinal Hive is doing for Ordinals. You're going to find the cheapest Ordinals around at Ordinal Hive. And they have amazing trader tools and XP dashboard. So stay tuned. They have some big announcements coming up. And we thank you guys so much for checking out our partners. We appreciate you guys.
Yup. Great job, man. As always, much appreciated. If you guys have a few more minutes and wouldn't mind checking out OnChainRevolution.io, we have some of the best articles, guys. Brand new article just dropped today. If you're sitting there and you're like, what the hell is Atkins? Well, we got you. No worries. We're going to walk you through exactly what it is. What is a WASM, which is WebAssembly smart contracts, revolutionizing Bitcoin's capabilities, guys. This could be something absolutely huge. You do not want to be on the outside looking in. If you're not going to participate, that is fine, but at least know what it is. And check out our article right here. It'll walk you through exactly what is going on Atkins. And if you guys need a VPN, definitely check out NordVPN, guys. It is my personal favorite. I actually have 2 accounts there. I think for each account, I paid $64 for 2 years. Lock it in. Forget about it. I'll see you in 2027 type of idea for me anyway. But if you guys do get a VPN and you want to get Nord, make sure you guys are using our link, right? You'll save 70%. If you go to NordVPN, they're going to charge you $10 a month. Don't do that. Use our link. Get it for 3. Like I said, lock it in for 2 years. Set it. Forget it. You're good. And then when you go to websites, right, you want to make sure that it is on, because you do not want to go to places like Pump Fun or wherever, and you're going to be giving them your IP address, what could lead to your home address. And if that information gets into the wrong hands, who knows what could happen. We are Bitcoiners here. We are self-sovereign, right? So we hold our assets. We do not want people to know potentially where those assets are. So do not do that. Get a VPN, guys. And if you guys need merch for for events or anything, or just kind of lounge around at home, we have some of the best merch in all of crypto. I think it's some of the best stuff here. And if you want us to add anything, let us know. If you're like, yo, I have a I don't know, a Bitcoin cyborg or whatever. We can pretty much add anything that you guys want us to add here, guys. We got Billy Cats, we got Dog, we got OnChain Revolution, we got everything, guys. Check it all out here at onchainrevolution.io. And guys, we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys. And until tomorrow,
Peace.
OnChain Revolution roll call. Market recap. You're not bullish enough, no. You're not bullish enough, no. Look at the price go. Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear trap. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. OnChain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and marching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction.